Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, make sure you click that subscribe button and then scroll down and introduce yourself in the comments section. I would absolutely love to meet all of you guys, even through a virtual introduction. So quick disclaimer, I've actually already filmed this whole video and then I went to go edit it and I didn't like how this whole beginning part was, so I'm refilming it right now. And so if it like randomly changes the aesthetic a little bit later on in the video, that's why. So I feel like when I watch a lot of the videos that are like how to get results in the gym, how to see progress, all of those things, the big thing that comes up is consistency is key. People usually only ever like brush on how to be consistent, so that's what I really want to break down today, is how to be consistent in the gym. So sorry if I keep looking this way, but my notes are right here, so I'm, you know, flipping back and forth. So I think we're all familiar with the basics of how to be consistent. Create goals, write them down, schedule in your workouts, yada yada yada. Those are kind of like the main hitters that we hear all the time. So what I've kind of done is come up with two big concepts or ideas on how to be consistent, and then I've subdivided those and broken it down into smaller, detailed, tangible, I can never say that freaking word. Smaller, detailed, tangible, and more actionable items. Those were like the goals that I wanted to hit on all of these. Steps, not items. Items doesn't make sense. The first like big chunk of it is all about finding a way to love it. And I'm gonna break that down, I promise, because I know that that's a very like conceptual thing right now. So we're gonna break it down. Obviously that's a lot easier said than done. It's not easy to just like decide you love something, you know? And I know that that's not easy because it took me years to figure out what I liked. So after years of trial and error, I feel like I actually know myself pretty well when it comes to the gym. Obviously, you know, we're still figuring out some other stuff in our early 20s, but overall I feel like I know my gym self very well. I've learned a lot about myself. I've broken it down into these 3 questions, and I actually want you to get out a sheet of paper and write down these questions, and then after you've watched the video and liked, comment, and subscribe, then you can go back and actually answer these questions and break them down and brainstorm some ideas in a little bit more detail. So the first question I have for you guys is, what do I enjoy doing? That's gonna be the first question you ask yourself, is what do I enjoy doing? Personally, like I really enjoy weightlifting, but that's not how I started out. I think like a lot of girls, I started doing a lot of cardio when I first went to the gym, and I actually have learned that I really hate cardio. I really hate endurance cardio, but I would go to the gym and I would just run on the treadmill and that's all I did. But now that I know that I like lifting weights, you know, I go to the gym and even on my bad days I don't mind it as much. But if I was signing up for spin classes, then I wouldn't necessarily want to do that. I wouldn't really be looking forward to it because I know that that's not my thing. It's fun every now and then, but it's not my thing. So if you don't know what your thing is yet, that is completely okay. But I think it's important to be trying new things constantly. I mean, even now, even though I'm pretty positive that like my thing is just going to the gym and lifting weights, I'm still constantly trying new things because there's a whole world of exercise to explore, and I have like ever so slightly touch the surface of it. Be trying new things constantly. Even when you think you have your thing, keep trying new things. So then the second question is, do you work better alone or in a group? Going to the gym alone, going with a friend, going to a group fitness class, trying the gym or classes or whatever the activity is, trying that on in different settings and seeing what you like best. I think when I first started out, I preferred going with a friend, but now I actually really prefer going by myself. And I think that's because the gym is like my place to focus, my place to get away from the world, to kind of meditate on my life. I do a lot of my thinking in the gym. That sounds so corny, but it is. I mean, but that's what I do, is I put my earphones in and I just kind of let the world go away for a little bit and I do my thing. And recently, I just wanted to share this in here, but a little like mantra that's been very motivating for me, especially when I'm by myself, because I feel like I don't know. This isn't like something that I would necessarily say to another person at the gym, but it's what I say to myself in my head, is I always tell myself, you have set this limitation for yourself and you can push past it. That's like what I'm screaming in my head, like as I'm lifting my weights. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that on here. Okay, so some people just like work out better with a friend. I think it's because there's somebody else cheering you on, there's somebody else motivating you. I know like I'm super competitive, so sometimes like when I'm in a group fitness class, like that girl's pedaling so much faster than me, I need to, you know, like pick up the pace here. Not only that, but I also feel like when you go to the gym with someone or like to a class with somebody, then it's like that person is relying on you to go with them. So you're more likely to be held accountable and therefore more likely to actually make it to your gym or class or whatever you're doing. It's really nice to like have somebody else to brainstorm workouts with. Like when I was first getting started and I didn't really know what I was doing at the gym, I had a close friend who I actually used to go to the gym with, and she would just show me some workouts and kind of lead me through. I wouldn't say that she was like training me in any way, but she was just kind of showing me around and introducing me to different things, because prior to this, I was the girl who took dumbbells and went in the corner and like did my little thing, which is I think a really, really good place to start because it kind of gets you comfortable with the area, but you grow out of that after a while, and it's like the machines are really fun. And like now I love the cable machine, but this was before, like I didn't even know what to do with the cable machine. I didn't even know how it worked. I didn't really know that a cable machine was a thing. She really helped me get out of my comfort zone there. So sometimes having a friend is really nice. I think especially if you guys are on 2 different levels, then they can kind of help you get out of your comfort zone. Okay, and then the third question, and this one's a really big one for me. It's taken me a while to understand this about myself, I think because I have insomnia, but I'm also a morning person. But the big question here is, what time of day do you work best? So for me, and I know this about myself, I work out the absolute best in the afternoon between like 1 o'clock and 4:30, 5 o'clock is kind of pushing it. If I don't start by 5 o'clock, then it's just not. Those are like, that's my prime time. But if you watch the vlogs, then you know that that's not really possible for me right now because I work from 10 to 4:30, so that's like right in the middle of my prime workout time. Because of that, I normally go in the mornings. And that's kind of like my second best thing because I just know myself and I know that if I work out at night, it's not gonna be great. Nighttime is my time to kind of, that's when I get really creative actually, is at night, which I think is actually, I think that's a thing. I don't think that that's just me. I didn't know this, but I'm taking it as a compliment because I always just thought that I couldn't sleep, but like recently I've heard several people say that really creative people have insomnia because they start creating at night and then you can't go to bed. So I'm just gonna take that as a compliment, aka a way for me to feel better about the fact that I can never sleep. I know myself, and after 9 o'clock, I just don't wanna do anything physical. For me, it's way more like thinking, and I wanna be like writing and editing and creating stuff. So once it hits that like 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock is really pushed. I just know that like after that point, I am physically completely worthless. You will not catch me lifting weights at 9 p.m. I don't know how people do that. So what I try to do is make a plan, which is a very common thing for people to say, but this is the most important part, is that I follow through with it. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the phrase, a lot of people say it, that like 50% of the battle is just getting there. That really is so true. Is like, it's so hard to get there, but once you're there, you can do it. Like the hardest part is done. Getting there is definitely the hardest part of the entire workout. And to be honest, there's so many times where like I really didn't want to go to the gym and it was so hard to get there. And then I got there and I did it, and they're like the best workouts that I've ever had. Getting there is the hard part, and then after that, it's just like, it's up from there. So make the plan, but follow through with it and know what times work best for you and make sure that you're scheduling those in. Okay, so that is that big chunk, and so we're gonna move on to the next chunk of what I think is gonna help you stay most consistent, and I think that that is tracking. There's a million different ways to track, and some of them are healthier than others. I personally don't really track my calories, I don't track my weight, but we'll go through some different ways to be tracking different progress. So the reason that I love tracking in some form is because it's much easier to see how consistent you're being when it's all laid out in front of you. It's just another way of showing yourself if you're holding yourself accountable. So personally at my gym, whenever you check in, like you do the card thing at the door, it sends you an email and it gives you points for how many times you've checked in, and it tells you how many times that you've checked in that month, and then you can like redeem the points and get like earbuds and t-shirts and stuff. So I like that they do that because it's like their own way of holding everybody accountable. But when I first moved here, I did not realize how inconsistent I really was at the gym until it like gives you extra points, and then it gives you points, and then if you go 10 times in the month, it gives you extra points. And so the first month that I was here, I was not here every weekend, but during the week I wasn't going every morning, and so I wasn't even hitting the gym 10 times throughout the entire month of October. Throughout the entire month of October, I didn't even hit it like 10 times, which was crazy to me because I thought that I was going so much and I felt like I was going to the gym so much. Even if I was leaving every weekend, that still meant that I was here 5 days out of the week and I wasn't hitting it 10 10 times throughout the whole month. For me, that was like a really big wake-up call and made me realize that even though I thought I was being consistent because I felt like I was being consistent, I was just making so many excuses for myself and I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing. Another way that I track is that I actually track through my Apple Watch. I used to have a Fitbit, but now I have an Apple Watch. That's just kind of like another fun way, and I don't even focus on it all the time. It just tells me that I closed my exercise ring or I closed my move ring. So I think like if you have a watch or you're looking into getting one, I think that that's another really good way to be tracking and like staying consistent. You see it. I know I like having, actually I think the Fitbit does this too, where you can pull it up on an app on your phone. I honestly don't remember with Fitbits. You can pull it up on an app on your phone and actually see how many days you've done it. So, you know, checking that out. But really what it comes down to is just finding a way that you will track. So you can put it on your planner, your calendar, on an app in your phone. There's like literally 1,000 different ways to do it. And whether you mark off that you went or you're scheduling that you're going to go, all of those are considered tracking. So then I have two differently similar ways to track that I have found very helpful in my fitness journey. These, I don't know why I made this so complicated. It's just two different ways that you could track. So the first one is progress pictures, which I know that I've talked about, and I'm not the first person to come up with this. A lot of people do this, but I found this to be a very healthy way for me to track my progress. Progress is actually like the key to happiness. That has been proven that as humans, we naturally just get happy when we feel like we're moving forward, whether it's in our career or our workout goals or anything like that. When you feel like you're making progress, that literally makes you happier. So for me, taking pictures was like the healthiest way to be tracking my goals, because I didn't like stepping on a scale. My weight fluctuates like nobody's business, and taking measurements just like made me feel self-conscious. I just didn't like it. And you can keep those like in your phone, or there's apps that do it, or I have another way that you can do it that we're gonna talk about next. And I think the key here is to actually stay consistent. This is kind of funny because we're talking about being consistent, but you have to stay consistent with taking pictures. So whether you want to do that like every month or bi-weekly, I suggest doing it monthly for, I don't know, but I feel like bi-weekly might be nice too if you're trying to like actually keep up with it a little bit more. Just like try and have a consistent schedule with when you take your pictures, whether it's like the 1st of the month, the 15th, or the 30th/31st. I feel like those are the easiest days to remember. I would try to stay away from my period when I take these pictures, just so I can feel like I'm giving myself an accurate documentation of what my body's looking like and what progress I'm making at the gym. Okay, so another way to track, and like, bear with me because I know that this won't be everybody's cup of tea, but another way to track is to actually make an Instagram account. And I know that that's not going to be everybody's thing, but like, hear me out, because even if you think it's not your thing, I have a solution for you. Just like personal experience, when I started putting things on Instagram, I actually felt like that was holding me accountable. Like, it was another way that I could see everything laid out in front of me, another way that I could see what I was doing. Was I going to the gym? And now I kind of use my Instagram a little bit differently, and I'm actually like putting workouts on for other people to use. So I use it differently in that sense. But when I started and I was just putting like a few progress pictures on, I all of a sudden noticed when I wasn't going to the gym and when I was going to the gym. Laid out nice in front of me, it's dated, and I can see everything on a grid. And like, personally, I really love Instagram. I love taking pictures, I love editing pictures, and I know that I might be the minority in that. But the best part about this whole thing is that you don't have the pressure of Instagram. And I kind of hate that there's like Instagram pressure, but I'm just keeping it real. But like, you don't need to have a theme, you don't need to have a solid flow, you know. Honestly, I think the best way to do this would be to make an account and keep it on private and follow nobody except yourself, and like your pictures, because like we all do it. I see all of you guys with your Finstas liking your own pictures. Like, I'm guilty of that, we're all guilty of that. So you can use this private account to literally track all of your progress. You can put your progress pictures on here, and that way you're having them side by side, and you can actually see in a grid how you're changing. You can upload videos of yourself doing your workouts, and you don't really have to share them with anybody necessarily. When you actually start filming yourself working out, I know I can say this from personal experience, you start noticing your form, and it's like, oh, I didn't really realize that. Like, something that I've noticed with my form is that whenever I'm doing things where my head goes down, I tend to bend my neck forward, and I just didn't realize that I did that, because if I'm looking in a mirror, I'll fix it. But when I'm filming myself, I see that I'm actually kind of messing that up, and I'm actually ruining my line, which could have effects on my spine later on. So filming yourself, I think, is actually a really good way to double check your form and to see how much stronger you're getting. And I don't know, I feel like it'd be kind of cool to see, like, if I had gone all the way back to the beginning of my fitness journey when I was doing bicep curls with like 8-pound weights and now I'm doing them with 20. That would be a really cool thing to be able to scroll through on Instagram and actually see myself make that transition. So what I was gonna say with like sharing it, if that's what you wanna do, is like, you don't have to be perfect to be sharing things. I'm not perfect. Like I just said, I literally just said how I mess up in my workouts, how my form isn't perfect, and like, I know that, but I still want to share and I still want to show, like, give ideas for people who maybe aren't as savvy at the gym and don't really know what to do. And so I want to give you guys ideas of what to do, and you guys could also do that and just be sharing your story and sharing your transition. Seeing other people do something good for themselves always makes me want to do something good for myself. You can make it public or you can make it private, but I just feel like that's a really good way to be tracking everything all in one place. So I think that these are all pretty good tips in my personal opinion. I'm very biased, but really at the end of the day, the biggest tip I can give you is to just do it, #Nike. It's not easy, and most days it won't be easy, but that's a good thing, because it means that you're pushing yourself. You have to constantly be pushing yourself to do it. You have to be pushing yourself to be consistent. Nobody else is gonna do it for you, and no amount of anything is gonna make you consistent except for you. So building up your discipline, that's how you stay consistent, and that is absolutely the hardest part about working out. That is the hardest part about getting healthy, about getting fit, about changing a lifestyle, anything, changing a career. Literally, the hardest part of anything is teaching yourself discipline. Push past the limitations that you have set for yourself and just do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video on tips to stay consistent. So if you guys have any like tips, tricks, or hacks or anything, make sure you comment them below. I like live for this stuff. So if you guys have anything, please let me know. I love trying new things out. Also, please like and subscribe. It really supports my channel and it helps me know what kind of videos you guys like to see. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. I hope you guys get your workouts in for the rest of the week and love the life you lived. I love you all. I will see you in my next video.